Please stand for our processional. Please continue to stand for the national anthem. Please be seated. The invitation today will be given by the University Chaplain, Greg Coker. Chaplain Coker.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we give thanks for these graduates who have finished their course of study and for all those who have walked at their side, for the friendships they have made, the insights they have found, the adventures they have had, and the knowledge they now possess. Open their eyes to all that is left to learn. Open their hands to those who seek their counsel, and open their hearts to all that is ahead. Amen.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, family members, friends, and class of 2023, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 151st ceremony awarding degrees to graduates of the School of Law as part of the 193rd Commencement of the University of Richmond. It is an honor to be here with so many outstanding graduates and celebrate their achievements. Graduates, we're so proud of your knowledge, skills, and commitment to justice, all of which empower you to make significant contributions for the good of our society. It's also a pleasure to welcome the families and friends of our graduates. Thank you for providing the support and encouragement needed to reach this milestone. I know you're excited as we are to celebrate the culmination of many years of study. Finally, I want to express my deep appreciation to our staff and our faculty for their enduring contributions to our graduates' lives. Thank you for wholeheartedly embracing your roles as teachers, scholars, and mentors, especially as we navigated together through the pandemic. Graduates, we applaud your passion, determination, and grace. Through scholarly work with faculty and bonds shared with classmates, you fostered the deep sense of community that is a hallmark of Richmond Law. Thank you for all that you've contributed. We hope your time here has been as fulfilling for you as it has been for us. Today we recognize the individual and collective achievements of the class of 2023. We look forward with great hope and anticipation to your continued accomplishments in the years ahead. I'm confident that your education has prepared you to make a difference in the world, in the lives of others, especially to promote justice and the common good. Thank you all, and congratulations.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the law school, I too welcome you to the ceremony for the class of 2023. Graduates, you have demonstrated exceptional resilience, strength, and grace in the face of enormous challenges. You showed up in masks. You spent that first year separated, sitting 6 feet apart, but you've come together as a class, and we are enormously proud of you. We now turn to our first speaker. In keeping with our tradition of active student involvement, we have the joy of hearing from Zai Medrano Alir. Zai is from Suffolk, Virginia. He graduated from William & Mary with a BA in Economics and Government. During his time at Richmond Law, he served as Vice Chancellor of the Walter Scott McNeill Law Honor Society, a staff member and manuscripts editor of the University of Richmond Law Review, a member of the Richmond chapter of the National Lawyers Guild, a member of the law fraternity Phi Alpha Delta. He loves listening to podcasts, trying exciting new restaurants, spending time with his wife Emma and their cat Sophie. After graduation, he'll join the Regulatory Investigation Strategy and Enforcement Practice Group at Troutman and Pepper here in Richmond.
Thank you so much, Dean Perdue. Friends, I am so grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today. This is the day that we have been working toward since our first moments at Richmond Law. Whether those first moments for you were as a 1L in the fall of 2020 or as a 2L in the fall of 2021, I know you have had your sights set on this day. Our first year of law school was anything but typical. Even so, we pushed through, experiencing together for the first time a rigorous study of the law and a global pandemic. Because of the strength of our community, we made the most of every moment these last 3 years. But this nice sentiment must have some of our friends and family in the audience wondering, what did my loved one do here for 3 years? The easy answer is that we learned, we grew as people, we laughed, we cried, and we committed ourselves to doing something hard. Most importantly, while doing all of that together, we formed friendships and bonds with faculty, staff, and our peers, working hard right alongside us. This invites the next question. What did my loved one learn at law school? What did law school teach us to do? It's a question with a lot of concrete answers. Write persuasively, argue, navigate systems, to name a few. In particular, we learned to write with an obsessive eye toward clarity, always making sure that we signal to the reader what we will discuss next. I will now share a personal anecdote as a segue to my main topic. When I stepped on campus for my first day of 1L classes, I was wearing some form of business casual. In fact, I ended up wearing business casual attire every single day of our first year. Why? It was not required. If you had asked me during our first week, I would have said it was because I wanted to look like a law student. Perhaps I was nervous that I wouldn't appear professional or mature enough, but surely that rationale wouldn't hold up once I actually got here. Law students don't dress like that in the 2020s, only in TV and movies. So why, if not to look like a law student? Why? Here's the truth. Fear. I was afraid. I wasn't afraid of not fitting in for my appearance. Rather, I was afraid of being seen, trying something new and difficult. Business casual for no reason? that wasn't really me, but it was as if I convinced myself that by being slightly inauthentic, it would not be me that people saw trying something new and difficult. As is the case, though, with many fear-driven decisions, it was silly of me to do this, but the fear was and remains real. Law school, as it turns out, is a 3-year-long exercise in being seen trying. From our first times answering cold call questions in class, to our courtroom debuts and trial advocacy competitions and different courses, we've all dealt with some form of this fear. And friends, I am thrilled to be among the 145 of us who went from being seen trying to being seen succeeding. Returning to the earlier question, though, what did we learn to do here? A solid answer is that we learned to overcome and harness the fear of being seen trying. My hope for us is that we channel this fear into pride in our future endeavors. Be proud that you are displaying the courage it takes to be unfamiliar with something. Being seen trying is simply the beginning of being seen succeeding. So we learned to be courageous. We learned to be bold. We became comfortable taking a position and defending it. These are excellent attributes, to be sure, but along the road of learning about the rule structures that organize our society, we also developed a sense of the nature of the law. It's often said law school teaches you not how to be a lawyer, but how to think like one. But it's even more basic than that. Law school taught us to appreciate what the law is and what the law is not. We must now appreciate that the law is not magical or heaven sent. It is not created by the same forces that shape canyons and rivers. Instead, the law is simply a series of human decisions. Decisions about what society should do, how society is best served by law, and who gets to be a part of that society. The law is a sum of decisions, but the law is not itself our society. Please humor me as I lean heavily into metaphor now. Earlier this year, cable television network HBO released a show called The Last of Us. It tells a beautiful story of two people surviving in a dangerous world. But this was not the first time that the story was told. Indeed, the story was first told about 10 years ago in a video game by the same name. Naturally, when it was first announced that the story would be told on television, many fans of the video game were quick to criticize the idea at its inception. Fans worried that telling the story in a different medium risked tarnishing the legacy and reputation of the original. But then the show came out. It was met with praise and acclaim from critics and fans alike. The story was successfully adapted for television. It carried the same emotional weight of the original. The success of The Last of Us on TV illustrates a valuable lesson for those of us with our attention on the law. It shows that while the story and the method through which it is told are interrelated, they are indeed distinct from one another. The story is not the method through which it is told. Although the method surely affects the story itself, the story exists as a distinct entity from the method through which you tell it. We feel this distinction every time we read a case where the legal conclusion, at least under today's precedent, might be clear, but the human impact is uncomfortable, messy, and outrageous. Let us never forget that there is a separate interest, shaped and guided by the law, yet distinct from it. That interest is our society. By now, we have learned that society is the story, while our present legal systems are just the methods through which our story unfolds. Once we appreciate that, it begs the question, then what is society? That is to ask, what is the story of human beings alive today? There is no single answer, but we know one thing for certain. Society is people right now. It is not the founders. It is not the long-deceased drafters of various texts. It is you and it is me and nothing else. We leave this place and become lawyers at a time where empathy is an increasingly infrequent virtue. It is up to us as a new generation to decide what empathy means to us. The issues of today call on us to define the scope of our empathy broadly. For us, empathy must mean more than putting yourself in someone else's shoes. It must mean courage, and it must mean boldness. Empathy must mean having the courage to be seen, standing up for those in the crosshairs of bigotry today. It must mean having the boldness. It must mean having the boldness to doubt the wisdom of antiquated doctrines conceived at a time when most of us in the class of 2023 would not have been welcome in legal spaces. Most of all, empathy must mean resisting the use of yesterday's ideas to rescind the rights of people today. Our societal responsibilities extend as far as our skills can take us, and we are courageous enough. We are bold enough, and friends, we must be empathetic enough. There are no words to describe how lucky I feel to be a part of this group of courageous, bold, and boundary-pushing legal minds. We came to Richmond Law with different background experiences and aspirations. Some of us knew our desired path when we got here, and others of us found our calling along the way. But we all shared the common goal of becoming lawyers. Whatever our professional goals, we all share the perspective and the capability necessary to choose to be a part of positive change. Regardless of where our lives take us from here, the accomplishment we recognize together today will be with us forever. Thank you so much to the Richmond Law Class of 2023. Congratulations, I am so proud to be one of you.
Thank you, Guy, for sharing your reflections. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our faculty speaker. In 1979, Clark Williams joined the Richmond Law faculty as an assistant professor. Since then, Professor Williams has impacted the legal education and careers of more than 6,200 alumni and students, including those who are graduating today. He's an expert and teaches in the areas of civil procedure, conflict of laws, structure of the Virginia judicial system. He's served as a consultant to various court systems and bar organizations on their rules of practice and procedure. In addition to his role as professor of law, Professor Williams was an early founder of the law school's Cambridge Summer Program and served as the school's associate dean for academic affairs for nearly 20 years, from 1995 to 2014. He is a beloved member of our community, and I'm thrilled to introduce him as the 2023 faculty speaker.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this exciting event. Thank you for the honor of speaking to you this afternoon and for the privilege of teaching you these last 3 years. We are here to celebrate these outstanding students who graduate from this wonderful school and become lawyers today. Each of you has worked so hard to get to this point. Each of you has achieved a milestone that 3 years ago as a 1L student might have seemed unattainable on some days. We are so grateful to have your family and friends here with us today. They have also worked and struggled. You have worked and struggled to make this day possible for you. In many cases, it may have been them that believed in you and encouraged you when you had doubts of your own. In many cases, they lived with your crazy schedule and understood why you could not be with them or available to them as much as you or they might have wished. They made the sacrifice of time and money and attention so that you could reach this day. And now you are here. All of you, congratulations. Members of the class of 2023, will you join me in expressing your gratitude and appreciation to those family and friends who've played such a great part in what you have achieved? I want to be brief today, and I want to leave you with 2 insights that I hope will be helpful and meaningful to you. One is professional and one is personal. First, at a professional level, I want to remind you and celebrate that the legal profession, of which you are now a part, bestows upon you a sacred trust. As an officer of the court, as an advocate for your client, as a central player in the administration of the rule of law, you will be in a position of trust. It is both a privilege and a weighty responsibility to bear that trust. Unfortunately, much of society outside the legal profession lacks that sense of trust and confidence in some of us. Public opinion tells us that lawyers rank near the bottom among professions in terms of public trust and confidence. We hear the cynicism and disdain in the many lawyer jokes that most times cast the lawyer in an unfavorable light. We hear that disdain in the works of some of literature's greatest writers. In his play, Henry VI, Part 2, no less a literary giant than William Shakespeare, depicts a group of mercenary traitors to the king, Henry V. They stand around talking about what the government will look like when their rebellion is successfully completed. What are we going to do when we get political power, they say. And one of them says to the group, that famous line, you've heard it before, right? The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. Not very encouraging, eh? At least not for those of us who are lawyers. Over the centuries, that line has been repeated over and over, usually by folks who are not lawyers. It's often their way of using Shakespeare to give voice to frustration with our profession. But think about that line and who it is that said it. It was the murderous tyrants, those seeking to take over the government, who would use any means, including torture or murder or extortion of those who oppose them, any means to take power and keep it. And there's the point. They knew, and we need to hold fast to this truth, they knew that it is the task of lawyers to prevent the tyrants from doing what they want to do. It is our job to go to the seat of power, whether it be a government official or a powerful corporation or an overzealous group bent on running roughshod over the rights of minorities and disadvantaged persons. To go to the seat of power and say to them, no, you cannot do that. It is our job to uphold the rule of law. That's the role you signed up for. That's your charge, and it is an honorable one. There's one other insight I would like to leave with you, a more personal one. And it comes from what I've observed over these past few years as we've struggled with the effects of COVID. You students have had the unusual fortune, let's say misfortune, to be a part of the pandemic generation over the past 2 or 3 years. Especially through the couple of years preceding this academic year, you've had your entire learning experience, your tried and true methods for learning literally turned upside down. May I assure you of something? Your faculty here at the law school made a heroic effort to make your educational experience all that it could be, in spite of Zoom classes and hybrid classes, social distancing, and speaking or listening to speakers talking through a mask. Whether or to what extent we faculty were successful in our efforts to overcome the challenges of the pandemic, I will leave that to your judgment. I hope we were. But upon reflection, and from conversations after the fact, both with many of you and with other recent graduates, some important insights have emerged, at least for me. And there are some things I would like to lift up to you that I have really come to value. One is, you've heard this before, resilience. This is a precious, often underappreciated value. You sometimes hear it referred to as grit. It is the ability and the willingness to persevere through less than ideal circumstances and continue to give your best effort in the face of frustration or setbacks. Many of you have discovered the need to show that kind of grit in the face of some of the challenges of the pandemic. That is going to serve you well throughout your life and your career. A second thing is kindness. Simple kindness to others, to your fellow students who may, unbeknownst to you, be having a really bad day, or to a faculty member who is stressed about meeting a deadline for class or completing a project. I have come to treasure those in our community who offer a smile or who will stop for a moment of conversation and seek to find out, how you doing? Or go the extra mile when it's not required or even expected to lighten the burden on someone else's shoulders. Kindness, it truly is treasure. And finally, grace. When you take some of that kindness and spend it on yourself, it is a fact of life that we do not always succeed at everything, not every time. Sometimes our best effort is not rewarded with dramatic success. You know what? That's okay. Please allow yourself some grace. Don't give up, but be willing to take a rest. And be open to new or different paths other than perhaps the one you thought you would pursue. That doesn't make you a failure. It may just be how you come to find your calling, or what is sometimes referred to as that road less traveled. Finally, may I suggest that those three qualities can actually reinforce each other. As you are intentional about bringing kindness to the lives of others, you may find the wisdom and the humility to be kind to yourself, to give yourself grace in the face of adversity. And together, hopefully that kindness and grace will feed resilience that life will demand of you, that grit to keep going. On behalf of all of my colleagues on faculty, the administration, and the many staff who have watched you work and sacrifice these last few years, we are proud of you. We relish your achievement, and we share your excitement as you prepare to enter this next chapter of your life. Thank you for the many gifts that you brought to the University of Richmond. May they lead you to a life of meaning and purpose and fulfillment. God bless each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Williams, for your many, many contributions to law school and for your words today. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Professor Heidi K. Brown, our commencement speaker. She's a graduate of the University of Virginia School of Law and professor of law and director of legal writing program at Brooklyn Law School, a former litigator in the construction industry. Heidi is author of 3 books about well-being for law students and lawyers, including The Introverted Lawyer, Untangling Fear in Lawyering, and The Flourishing Lawyer, a multidimensional approach to performance and well-being. Heidi has a master's degree in applied positive psychology from the University of Pennsylvania. She's the 2023 recipient of the award for outstanding contributions to well-being in legal education from the Association of American Law Schools section on balance and well-being in legal education. Building on a foundation of 30 years of experience in legal practice and academia, Heidi champions the importance of openly discussing stressors, anxieties, and fears in lawyering, and helping quiet and anxious law students and lawyers trap the individual strength to become profoundly effective advocates in their own authentic voices. Please join me in welcoming Heidi Brown.
President Halleck, Dean Perdue, alumni, faculty, staff of the University of Richmond School of Law, family and friends of today's graduates, and most importantly, class of 2023. My favorite philosopher of all time, Bono, rock star, humanitarian, and lead singer of the Irish rock band U2, wrote a song lyric comprised of 4 words: love the higher law. As a legal writing professor, I've always been intrigued by the grammar and lack of punctuation. No comma, no colon, no em dash of these 4 words. Is this 4-word lyric a definition? Love is the higher law? Is the lyric a verb, a call to action, to go out there and love the law, the higher law? Could it mean for us that love and law are inextricably intertwined? That the study of law, the practice of law, are acts of love? For our community, our society, one another, those less fortunate than we are, perhaps the love of progress, of innovation. Today, your commencement day is not the end, but the beginning, a commencement of a lifelong relationship with the law. The law, like love, is messy, imperfect, complicated, and yet exhilarating. But you already know all this. 3 years ago, you enrolled in law school, this particular law school, because of your love of learning. The traditional law school landscape, your lawscape, a term coined by my friend, Professor Andreas Philippopoulos Mihalopoulos, changed on you. You studied precedent in unprecedented circumstances. You occupied space in a way you and your professors didn't anticipate. In boxes on computer screens, or sitting 6 feet apart from one another, masks hiding your smiles, or looks of confusion as you wrestled with a new shared vocabulary, the language of law. You learned how to read and brief cases for the first time, identifying holdings and judicial opinions, some rendered a century ago, grappling with whether you agreed, disagreed, or, if you were like me in 1L year, even felt the slightest bit worthy of having an opinion about whether these cases were decided correctly or erroneously. Meanwhile, monuments and statues that occupied space, also for over a century, in your university's town, were tugged down, leaving space to be filled by new ideas, different ideas, perhaps your ideas, your worthy, much-needed, fresh ideas. The physical space of your law school building also changed to make way for renovation and construction, limiting your relationship with nooks, corners, and stairwells available to those who studied here before you, in order to make those spaces better for those who will occupy it after you. The name of your law school changed after what President Halleck described as an extensive and inclusive process in which more than 7,500 members of the university community provided their perspectives. Again, sharing of words, ideas. Throughout the unprecedented times of your past 3 years, you refused to ruminate about absence, discomfort, lack, brokenness, loss, destruction, damage, missing out, bygones. Instead, you filled space with wonder, curiosity, energy, momentum, optimism, change, possibility, potential. You started 6 feet apart from one another and patiently closed that gap by doing things that probably scared you at first. You made mistakes. You tried again. You figured it out together. Close your eyes for a second. Imprint this moment. Breathe it all in, right here, right now, as the collective DNA of your graduating class is united in this space. A collective DNA that would be completely different if any one of you had not been a part of this educational experience at this law school. Every one of you was, is, and will be needed. Tomorrow, you get to decide how you will occupy space in the legal profession, how you will represent your graduating class, your law school, and yourself in the lawscape of the United States and the world. I encourage you, us together, to occupy space. Each dialogue, each interview, each meeting, each negotiation, each courtroom appearance, each encounter with a person affected by our legal system, from the most fortunate, privileged, or fancy to the least, with intention. Our words and behavior matter every time. Tomorrow, you get to decide what the definition of a successful lawyer looks like for you. Your lawful accomplishments are wonderful and something to be proud of and absolutely celebrate today, but they do not define you. Neither do your disappointments. Tomorrow, you get to define you. Tomorrow, you get to decide how you want to define your character and your multidimensional fitness to practice law. Your character and fitness for the legal profession are not fixed as of May 6, 2023. Let's strive to continuously cultivate our character. Let's consider what it means to be multi-dimensionally fit to practice law, like scholar athletes or scholar performers. Athletes and performers do not just rely on the singular skill that brings them glory on the field or on the stage. Instead, they adopt training routines and regimens and ask for help from coaches and trainers who care about their well-being to build strength across multiple personal dimensions, so when they finally step into the performance arena, they can set aside all self-doubt, trust their training, and flourish. I seek to empower you to reject catchy slogans and messages like "fake it till you make it." Please, fake nothing. Be real. If we don't know something, let's say so, and let's figure out the answer. If we're afraid, worried about something, let's say so out loud to each other. Then together, let's do something about it. Let's untangle fear. I admit, I was kind of mad at Socrates for a solid 2 decades for inventing the Socratic method that I unfortunately let intimidate me in law school. But a major gem Socrates has given me, us, is his maxim, know thyself. Let's not pretend we already know everything about ourselves or have our life in the law all figured out. Instead, let's mirror Socrates' intellectual humility. Let's get curious. Like athletes, like performers, like artists, let's investigate how we, as individuals, can and will perform our best work. That will and should look different for all of us. In addition to the substantive legal intelligence you've worked so hard alongside your devoted professors to develop in law school, let's tend to our emotional intelligence. Let's tend to our personality intelligence, recognizing how introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts all bring impactful gifts and strengths and assets to solving complex legal problems, making space for and listening to each other. Let's tend to our somatic intelligence, studying how our bodies respond and react to stressful situations and scenarios in our day-to-day work, training ourselves, again, like athletes and performers, to ride out the rise and fall of physiological responses to stress, anxiety, and fear in healthy ways. Let's also seek to understand how artificial intelligence might enable us to do good, to help, to create. Of course, we can and should appropriately honor precedent, but we must also give ourselves permission to forge unprecedented paths in the law. On a recent trip to a foreign country, I walked into a bookstore and attempted to say in the local language, "Do you have any books in English?" Instead, I flubbed the translation of the verb and accidentally asked the shop clerk, "Are you a book in English?" After recovering from my embarrassment, my language blunder got me thinking, what book do I want to be? What book do you want to be? I challenge each of you to be a book no one has written yet. Be unprecedented. Please show the world it is possible to be 148 impactfully zealous advocates for your clients at the same time as being kind. Another perfect U2 lyric I choose to believe Bono wrote for lawyers. Are you tough enough to be kind? Before you leave here today to commence your legal career, consider saying an extra thank you to the classmate or professor who made you feel safe enough to venture the wrong answer, the school administrator or staff person who listened when you needed an ear, to each other, saying, yes, we can do this hard and uncomfortable thing, and to yourself for never giving up. 2023 graduates of the University of Richmond School of Law, it's your turn now. You get to show the world that it's possible to cultivate a culture of fortitude, gratitude, and plenitude, even in our often adversarial, uncomfortable, and contentious legal world. Go out there and show the world what it means to you to love the higher law. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your remarks. In April, we held our first annual awards ceremony to recognize and celebrate our graduates who received special honors and awards. Award recipients, as well as descriptions of the awards, can be found inside your program. I welcome your applause as we congratulate them for their hard work and dedication.
Graduation is a very special occasion because it gives the university an opportunity to recognize those who've completed the requirements of the faculty and who have fulfilled the expectations of the entire university community. Our warm congratulations go to all of the members of the University of Richmond School of Law class of 2023. I now call on Provost Jeff LeGros.
Will the graduating class please rise? Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of the University of Richmond School of Law, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and upon the faculty's recommendation of completed requirements, I confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor of the University of Richmond with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the graduating class please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Stash that there.
We now recognize the candidates for the Juris Doctorate degree for May 2023. Zai Logan Medrano Alier. Matthew Dixon Alaka. Miracle Phoebe Amo. Sophia Lynn Arnold. Sue Daniela Dolores Asuaje. Elizabeth Morgan Berry. Morgan T. Beatty. Elizabeth Greer Belcher. Robert Murray Belser. Madison Cheyenne Blevins. Kelly Morgan Bope. Lindsay Jean Brian. Cassidy Cheyenne Bowling. Laura Elizabeth Brashear. Matthew Lee Brock. Tyler Stevenson Butt. Samantha Callejas. Alexandra Sau. Emily Rose Casey. Kaylin P. Chicane. Hannah Louise Seriani. Michelle Y. Chang. Jessica Delaney Cooper. Nicholas Leonard Korn IV. Jack Robert Corkery. Sorry. Benjamin L. Culpepper. Nicole Ann Dalrymple. Kira Lauren Davis. Elliot Dement. Elizabeth Rose Deere. Bud Dorfman. Ryan Glenn Dunn. Mallory Lauren Duplantis. Haley Sue Edmonds. Daniel Lester Simpson Edwards. Camera Nicole Elliott, who is also receiving her Master of Business Administration degree. Meredith Ann Elliott. Syed Mohammed Fawad. Emmanuel Becerra. Elizabeth Ann Foster. Troy A. Fowler. J. Merritt Francis. Holly E. Frederickson. Michaela Elizabeth Fuller. Liddy Gallagher. Kiana Nicole Gilchrist. Nathan Lamar Gilmore. Owen Lyons Giordano. Matthew Gittleman. Annalisa Gobin. Jessica N. Greenman. William Joseph Swiacki Gray. Pablo Grijalva. Albert A. Gutierrez. Adam Carlson Haid. Christopher Lewis Hale. Thomas L. Hall. Matthew Ambrose Hammett. Benaz Hensodia. Bushra Zareen Huck. Mire Vanessa Huh. Jennifer Leticia Hernandez Austria. Roger Drake Herring. Callie Rebecca Huffman. Samantha L. Hunt. Douglas Alston Alexander James. Kaylee Danielle Johnson. Isaac Chandler Jordan. Kyle Redmond Jordan. Celie Andrews Kaufman. Brian Benjamin Kennedy. Jessica Elise King. Whitney E. King. Melissa D. Corey. Brian C. Kroc. Matthew William Crum. Abigail M. Lonston. Jonathan A. Larkin. Hannah Branch Laub. Alexis Grace Laundrie. Claudia Regina Leonor. Ben Liu. Bridget Emily Moss. Amanda Rose Markarian. Victoria V. Martinov. Charles Richard McCarthy, who is also receiving his Master of Business Administration degree. Braden James Meadows. Gabrielle Means. Norman Julian Meso. Michael R. Milstein. Taylor Ann Moffett. Joseph L. Montalvo III. Tiffany Quinn No. Anne Margaret Nicholson. Catherine Grace Norwood. Staturia Star Nyan. Austin Logan Obenchain. Kelly Sun O'Brien. Jessica E. Otiono. Jonathan David Pequeño. Aminta E. Perka. Maxwell Paul Hild Petrie. Dilwyn John Kotnick Piner. Hector Christian Damian Quinones. Kaylee M. Rabatin. Kenneth George Reboredo. Danica Eve Riddlebarger. Nikita Maria Rivera. Laura Elizabeth Robinson. Jessica Cannon Rook. Richard Henry Rosario, Jr. Carly Ruival. Gabrielle Andrea Sandoval. Andrew David Scalzo. Nicholas Robert Shields. Willa Jacqueline Sharp. John G. Sims. Mason T. Smith. Joshua T. Stenjim. Mason A. Storm. Carolyn Grace Stow. Bryson Thomas Strong. Noah James Street. David Matthew Sturts. Karen J. Sun. Teresa Sun. Megan Elizabeth Sutherland. Stephen Alexander Reinhardt Taft. Olivia Rose Tanner. Austin Courtwright Tatum. Ashley Blaze Thompson. B. Caleb Thompson. Gil Topaz. Seneca E. Sang, who is also being commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Kayla L. Tucker. Mary Elizabeth Tersey. Paula Andrea Vallejos. Elizabeth Garrett Vanas. Austin T. Wade Vicente. Nija Jasmine Walker. Grayson Luke Waga. Amari Faith Wright. Yanrong Zhang. The following candidates are receiving their degrees today from various family members who are alumni or parents of the University of Richmond. Will those persons please join your graduate at this time? Okay. Ready. Whitney Bush Alcorn, presented by her father Stephen Bush, Richmond class of 1980. Charles H. Evans, presented by his father, Roy F. Evans, Jr., Richmond Law, class of 1983. Hannah Rebecca Moore, presented by her stepfather, Charlie Phelps, Richmond Law, class of 1988. Alyssa Dawn Thompson, presented by her father, James Thompson, Richmond Law Class of 1991.
Graduates and guests, join me in saluting the graduating class of 2023. Let me just very briefly address the class of 2023. Each of you has worked very hard for this accomplishment, but you did not do so alone. You stood on the shoulders of parents and grandparents, spouses, siblings, and friends. And so, echoing the suggestion of Professor Williams, I'd like you to stand and acknowledge those people who did so much to get you here. This concludes the graduation ceremony. Will the mace bearer please come forward and retrieve the mace? Please remain seated for the recessional. Our new graduates will proceed to the reception on the upper level, and please join your graduates there. Ushers will direct you. Thank you all and have a wonderful afternoon.